Welcome, mortals. Let your mind wander beyond the veil. Ask yourself, what is this realm? Is it stone and sky, blood and breath? Or something far older, coded, concealed, conjured? The wise and the broken, the enlightened and the mad, all have offered answers. The ancients called it many things, a divine garden, seated with light and pain, a prison of karma where souls spin like moths caught in a glass lantern. Or perhaps a dream, dreamt by a slumbering god who forgot he was dreaming. A test crafted by forces watching from behind the stars. But behind every story, every sacred book, every forbidden scroll, one whisper remains constant. What you see is not what it is. In modern temples, made of concrete and fluorescence, the priests wear lab coats. They speak of quantum enlightenment, particles that mirror each other across space with no known cause. The observer effect. Reality shifts simply because you look at it. The simulation hypothesis. The idea that this entire realm is a hyper-advanced program run by something beyond comprehension. Is it so different from the ancients, Maya, the veil of illusion, from Plato's cave where humans mistake shadows on a wall for truth? We live in a consensus dream, stitched together by perception and repetition. A tree is not green. Your brain simply translates frequency. A solid object is not solid. It is 99.9% empty space. Time is yet not a river, but a spiral or perhaps a loop. You live inside a model of the world, not the world itself. A neural map, a reflection, a facade, hiding a deeper layer of code. Now pause, mortal. Breathe and ask, if this is a projection, then who cast it? Was it a god? The god? A machine? A collective consciousness? Or something darker? A parasite that needs you asleep? What if this world is not a test, but a containment field? A sealed layer in a stack of dimensions? A playground for beings who do not wear flesh, but code, light, and will. The first crack comes not from destruction, but from doubt. It is the moment you realize the sky is not above you, it is inside you. That your mind was never in the world was always in your mind. And once the crack appears, the veil begins to whisper back. Have you ever stood by the sea and felt it inhale? The tide rises when it breathes out. The tide falls when it breathes in. But the question is not how it breathes. The question is, who is it? You've been told the ocean is just water, salt, and motion. But those who walk the ancient coast, those who painted stories on cave walls, they did not speak of an element, they spoke of a spirit. Polynesia, she was called Muna Nuiakiwa, the great parent ocean. In Sumer, Namu was the parental. The Greeks feared ancient ocean deities that predated even the Olympians. The Norse spoke of a deity that drowns and devours, clutching souls in a net. In the Yoruba belief, she is Imaho, mother of all life. These were not mere personifications. They were warnings that the ocean does not obey us because it is older than us. Now hear this, mortal. The ocean has no eyes, and yet it watches. It has no tongue, and yet it sings. It has no hands, and yet it reclaims. Every time we build too close, the sea comes to take. Sand returns, concrete cracks, ships rust, empires fall into the form. Could this be coincidence, or could it be resistance? The ocean remembers because it has seen before the veil was drawn across our minds, before history was rewritten, before the reset, before the gods of silicone replaced the gods of storm. Do you know of Dwarka, an ancient city off the coast of India, once thought mythical, now partially found beneath the Arabian Sea? Or Yanagani, off Japan's coast, underwater megaliths with steps, platforms, and roads carved into the stone structure that predate what archaeologists dare to accept. How did these cities end up underwater? Why did so many ancient myths speak of floods? Atlantis, Mu, Lemuria, Kamari Kadam, the deluge of the Nephilim, all speak of a time when a man flew too high and the sea rose to silence him. Now, let us step into the arcane science they hide behind white papers and quiet grants. Water is not inert, it stores memory. Nobel Prize winners have showed that water carries electromagnetic signals, storing the signature of DNA. Some proved water responds to human emotion, attention, and even music. What then of the ocean, the largest body of water on Earth, a planetary nervous system, a fluid hard drive? What songs has it heard? What sorrow has it swallowed? There are things that sleep beneath the waves, mortal, and they are not myths. They are not metaphors. They are memories. Every culture speaks of a sea beast, great leviathans that dwell in the abyss. Tiamat, mother of monsters. Jormungandr, the world serpent. Dagon, Cthulhu, and whisperings that Lovecraft did not invent, only echoed. What if these were not fantasies but residual memories of creatures long suppressed, waiting? We have not explored 80% of the ocean, not because we cannot, but because we are not allowed. Now, let us tie this together with the realm of code we spoke of before. If this world is a simulation, a projection, then the ocean is not just a body, but a buffer, a firewall, a living encryption layer. What lies at the bottom of the ocean? Not just pressure and darkness, but hidden code, the original frequency, the root of the realm's operating system. And when the tides shift, the ocean speaks through earthquakes, tidal waves, whale song patterns scientists cannot decipher, deep sea sounds like the bloop, an underwater noise louder than the Krakatoa, origin unknown. So next time you stand by the sea, ask not how deep it is, but how old, how aware, and whether it is dreaming still or beginning to awaken. Because one day the ocean may not breathe in, it may breathe out. And all that lies buried beneath the waves will rise. And now, mortal, we dig, not for gold, not for bones, but for forgotten truths, buried under silence, mud, and centuries of scripted history. Have you noticed windows beneath the street, bricked-in doorways, 6 feet below ground, cities with layers, not from growth, but from burial, not decay, not erosion, but a mud flood, a sudden deluge that did not come from the sky, but from time itself. Moscow, Paris, London, Rome, Boston. Photos of excavations show street being dug out, not built. Structures already there, waiting beneath the dust. Ask yourself, why do we build cities on top of other cities? Or did we wake up one day and forget what was beneath us? They called it Tartaria, a vast, elegant empire stretching from Siberia to the Americas. You won't find it in today's textbooks, but it was on maps before the 1800s, clear, marked, defined. Its structures were monolithic, harmonious, radiant, built with sacred geometry. They had towers that radiated energy, star forts with magnetic layouts, architecture, not of war, but of resonance. Then came the mud, the rewriting, the reset. Was it a war, a celestial event, or a deliberate program wipe? And why does history before the 1850s seem blurred, missing, inconsistent? Who has edited our timeline, mortal? And what did they need hidden? Let us now hear what was silenced. All across the forgotten empire stood bell towers. They were not for summoning prayer, not just to tell time. Bells are frequency generators, each one tuned to specific healing resonance, capable of stimulating the pineal gland, able to harmonize the city's energy field. Why do you think they silence the bells? Why are their true tones lost? The great cathedrals, like tuning forks of the realm, even the domes and the spires acted as antennas, pulling energy from the ether. What if bells, when rung together, did more than just echo? What if they healed DNA, aligned consciousness, or unlocked memory? The truth is not just buried beneath mud, it was muted. Imagine the veil like a corrupted hard drive. The reset, the mud flood, was not just physical, it was metaphysical. A memory wipe, children placed in orphan trains, entire generations missing parents or origin. Massive world fairs built and dismantled in just months using impossible architecture. Stories of foundlings, not families. They did not just bury cities, they buried identity, then replaced what was remembered with what was recorded. This was not evolution, it was redaction. Do you see it now, mortal? The ocean is the entity that remembers. The mud was the seal, the compression algorithm to bury the old operating system. The bell towers were antivirus, removed, retuned, destroyed. And Tartaria was a civilization in alignment with the true frequencies of this realm. They say this realm is a simulation. If that's true, Tartaria was root access, and we, now waking, are the ones seeing the debug codes, the bricks underground, the orphan past, the missing stars on old maps, the silence where there should be song. So now, mortal, listen carefully. The bells may be silent, but their echoes remain. The mud may have buried the truth, but your soul can still smell the rain. The ocean may whisper in breathless dreams, but some of you are remembering. The awakening has begun, and nothing buried stays buried forever. And now, we look to the edge, to the ring that surrounds this realm, the place mortals call Antarctica. But in older tongues, it was not a pole, it was a wall, a border, a gate, a limit placed upon the map of the world. You've been told it is a South Pole, a frozen wasteland, hostile, empty, inhospitable. But Antarctica, by the oldest accounts, was never the bottom of a spinning globe. In many ancient belief systems, Earth was a plain encircled by ice, a great ring of frozen mountains, the ultimate boundary. Across cultures, the pattern repeats. In Norse cosmology, Midgard was surrounded by the outer sea, the land of giants, guarded by frost and storm. The Babylonian map of the world shows a flat disk surrounded by water and 7 distant lands beyond it. The inverted text, Mandala, is depicted as circular with lands, concentric oceans, each bordered by impassable barriers. Could these not be myths, but memories? Tales not of fantasy, but photograph truth, rewritten by time and conquest? Let us speak plainly now, mortal. The Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959. It remains unbroken. It prohibits military activity, prohibits private ownership, no mining, no digging, no trespassing without approval. What other place on Earth is so fiercely protected by every nation, even those at war? Why the secrecy? Why the unified agreement? Why the lack of civilization exploration beyond pre-approved tourist zones? Could it be that the greatest lie is not what the Earth is, but what lies beyond it? Let us now name the man who saw what was not meant to be seen. Rear Admiral Richard Byrd, a U.S. Navy officer, aviator, and polar explorer. In Operation High Jump, he led the largest military expedition to Antarctica in history. 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 aircrafts. The supposed goal, cold weather training. But why send an armada to an uninhabitable wasteland just after World War II? In a March 5th, 1947 interview with Chilean newspaper, Byrd made a shocking claim. The present expedition has opened up a vast new territory, over 1,000,000 square miles of land beyond the South Pole, more than the size of the United States. A land Byrd allegedly called Little America for or Terra Incognita. He described mountain ranges, vegetation, warm lakes, and flying craft capable of extreme speeds. Did Byrd find a break in the ice wall, a way into the lands beyond? Following this expedition, Byrd's diary went silent. High Jump was abruptly cut short. Soon after the Antarctic Treaty was signed. Coincidence or containment? Maps. Many old maps depict lands beyond Antarctica. Some from the 1531s show an ice-free Antarctica with rivers, mountains, and inhabitable land. Some from the 1513 era show a detailed southern landmass centuries before its official discovery. The Kircher's map of Atlantis placed it near the South Pole, suggesting not only lost land but hidden knowledge. Secret societies whispered of the Agartha network, a realm below and beyond, accessible only by the poles. Nazi Germany pursued such theories, launching Operation Schwabenland in the late 1930s to explore the area and establish a base. Why such obsession with southernmost lands? Why such secrecy after discovery? So what lies beyond the ice wall? More land, other civilization, the forges of the gods, or the edge of the simulation itself? Old texts speak of watchers, ancient beings stationed at the corners of the earth. In the book of Enoch, they descended from heaven, taught forbidden knowledge, and were later imprisoned beneath the earth, or perhaps beyond the wall. Did they seal us in, or are they trying to keep something out? Is the ice wall the final firewall? If reality is a code, the ice wall is the firewall, a living barrier, reinforced not just with snow and wind, but treaties, satellites, and psychological programming. You've been told, don't look there. There's nothing there. But the more forbidden a place becomes, the more sacred it likely is. Antarctica is not a pole. It is a lock, and the key lies within you. We are waking. The breath of the ocean calls. The bells remember. The buried cities ache to rise. And beyond the wall lies the truth of our exile. Do not ask why the ice is cold. Ask what it's hiding from the warmth of your awakening. All is energy. All is vibration. All is frequency. This isn't just spiritual poetry. It is physics, biology, and forbidden knowledge wrapped in one. Everything you see, the walls, the sky, your hands, appears solid. But zoom in far enough and you will find motion, atoms, quarks, vibrating strings. Matter is frozen music. Reality is a chord being struck over and over by an unseen hand. But what chord? What song? That's where the code begins. Geometry is not a human invention. It is the language of the divine, encoded in the spiral of galaxies, the seed patterns of flowers, the shape of our DNA. From the swirl of galaxies to the curl of a fern, you'll find Fibonacci watching. The Fibonacci sequence. Each number the sum of the two before it, found in seashells, hurricanes, sunflower spirals, the Coachella of the human ear, the structure of time itself. The golden ratio governs beauty, growth, and balance. But ask yourself, who installed this ratio into reality? Why is it everywhere? Pythagoras, Plato, Da Vinci, Tesla, they didn't invent this geometry. They were trying to reverse engineer it. Your mind is tuned like a instrument. It operates within frequency bands, brain waves, delta, sleep, theta, dream, meditation, alpha, calm, focused, beta, alert, working, gamma, peak, awareness. Change the frequency and you change the mind. Now ask, what happens when you saturate a population with discordant frequencies? You get confusion, anger, separation, amnesia. The matrix doesn't need walls, it needs broadcast towers. Modern cities drown in 60 hertz EMF fields, Wi-Fi, 5G, Bluetooth, constant noise. The new chains are resonant interference, keeping your conscious locked in beta, disconnected from the source. And yet, within sacred temples, what do we find? Domes, resonant chambers, aligned architecture built along ley lines. The ancients knew how to tune the environment like an instrument. Before the global reset, before the mud-buried cities, bells rang through the land, not to tell time, but to resonate with the body. Each bell cast a pure frequency, echoing the healing tones. 432 hertz, harmony with Earth's vibration. 528 hertz, cellular healing. 983 hertz, pineal activation. 111 hertz, gateway to altered states. They don't just heal the body, they unlock the mind. So why did they return the instruments? Why was 432 hertz changed to the disharmonic 440 hertz by the Rockefeller Foundation in the 20th century? Because 440 hertz disrupts heart coherence. It disconnects soul from the source. The earth is not just a sphere, it is a living circuit. The ancients called them dragon lines, song lines, spirit roads. Modern science calls them geomagnetic anomalies. These are not myths. They are the power lines of the planet. Temples, pyramids, stone circles, even the cathedrals of the old world were all placed precisely on these intersections. Why? Because these points are where the veil is thinnest, what reality is more easily rewritten. Now ask yourself, why were the great monuments aligned to the stars? Why were they built using sacred math? Because there were code terminals, places where divine patterns were downloaded, restored, and expanded. Ever felt deja vu? Saw repeating numbers, witnessed time slip, or places that felt off, like they weren't quite here? These are not delusions. They are leaks in the simulation. 1111, the activation code, the cosmic ping, mere hours, signs of temporal misalignment, Mandela effect, memory versus reality, conflict caused by shifts in the code. The matrix is not flawless, and those who attune to the code start to see the stitches. So, mortal, we dive into the forbidden question. Who wrote the code? Was it the architect? The aeons of Gnosticism? The Anunnaki? Oh, or was it you before you were fractured and bound? Perhaps the code is not alien. Perhaps it is ancestral. You are not a prisoner. You are the forgotten programmer. The only way to break the spell is to return the instrument. Seek 432 hertz, meditate in sacred ratios, walk the dragon lines, sing the ancient vowel tones, observe the patterns, feel the rhythm, and trust the glitch. Because the world is not stone, it is vibration. And once you master the frequency of the truth, you will see the code, not with your eyes, but with your soul. Some of you are awakening. You feel it, don't you? Like a song you forgot, but still hum in your dreams. The dreams bleed into waking. The old world no longer holds. You look at the sky and something behind it feels off. Too smooth, too clean, like a pointed ceiling on a sacred lie. Awakening is not gentle. It does not caress. It shatters. It snaps the bones of comfort. It claws through your illusions like lightning through fog. The first symptom is discomfort. Things feel wrong, but you can't explain why. You walk into places and feel sick. People speak, but their words carry no soul. Nature calls louder than ever, not to be admired, but remembered. You begin to see. Time does not move forward. It folds. It loops. It waits for you to catch up. Every second is a node in a multidimensional web. Deja vu is not random. It is a feedback ping from a parallel stand. The past is not gone. it's compressed. The future is not fixed, it's written when you act from awareness. Awakening reveals time is a mirror. It shows you that prophecy and memory are the same thing, viewed from opposite ends. Your thoughts are limited by your words. Words are symbols, symbols are frequencies, and your entire mind was installed with default settings, alphabets, rules, concepts that limit what you can imagine. This is why awakening often comes through silence, not speech, meditation, music, art, dreams. These bypass language. They unlock direct transmission, the primal knowing that precedes thought. To awaken is to see that thought is not truth. It is software, and you can write your own code. You are not from here. Deep inside, you already know. You are never fully fit. You question what others worship. You feel ancient and yet born yesterday. You feel homesick for a place you cannot name because you are not from this realm. You are from before it, before the veil, before the reset, before the codes were locked. You came here to remember and restore. You were taught you were powerless, that you were just a speck. But the truth is, this world is reactive. It bends to belief. It follows your frequency. You are not just watching the simulation. You are co-rendering it. The more aware you become, the more synchronicities unfold, the more the impossible become normal, the more the system begins to respond to your vibration. You've seen it. Think of someone and they message. Ask a question and the answer comes in a dream. Desire something deeply and reality bends to deliver or to test your worthiness. To awaken is to tune your vessel back to the divine harmonic. You stop feeding on fear, stop worshiping systems, stop giving your mind away to symbols not your own. Breathe with rhythm, speak with purpose, create in alignment with sacred geometry. Travel not to escape, but to realign. Heal not by medication, but by frequency, intention, and fasting from illusion. The food you eat, the thought you harbor, the sound you hear, the colors you wear, all of it recalibrates the code around you. You become unreadable to the old matrix. Its tricks don't work anymore. You feel the manipulation in news, in music, in synthetic fear. You stop reacting. You start observing. You start commanding. And then the veil begins to lift, not all at once, but in pieces, like mist at dawn. You are now in between, half in the world, half beyond. Your soul peeks through the cracks of the code and reprograms the realm by its presence alone. This is why they built the system. This is why they built Tartaria. Why they silence the bells. Why they guard Antarctica. Why they drown the world in false frequencies. Because a fully awakened being is uncontainable. You would remember your origin. You would walk the ley lines and sing the real world back into form. You would merge the timelines. You would unlock Little America. You would resurrect Atlantis, not in water, but in awareness. And now you see, mortal no longer. You are the guru. You are the key. You are the glitch that becomes the rewrite. I do not wake you to comfort you. I wake you to arm you. This realm is not fixed. It is fluid. And your consciousness is the heat that reshapes it. So rise, bearer of the spark. Speak the true tones. Feel the ancient grid. Trust the glitch and awaken others. Not with fear, but with frequency. Until next we meet, follow the silence between sounds. That's where the truth hums. Farewell, mortal.